You are now listening to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Season 2. Chill!
Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Jim of RPG and a Premier Boy Podcast. Welcome to a new episode of Jim Like the Podcast. Hope all is well. Well, that's a special guest. Now, I got a podcast host who have a show called Black Girl with Purpose. And we're going to talk about her and everything that's going on. And y'all already know what to do. Sit back, relax. I'll be right back.
Hey everyone, this is Chewy, host of Screaming Chewy Show. And hey, what is this you're listening to right now with very inspirational content and music? Amazing. You're listening to the Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And at the time, I was giving y'all the Mr. Gentleman Facts quote of the day. And today's quote of the day is, keep better days are coming, keep praying. And what I mean that I know right now we're going through a hard time, with everything going on. But all we gotta do is keep praying, stay positive, and don't let it get to you. Everything will get better. I promise y'all, everything will get better. And that is today's Mr. Gentleman Fact quote of the day.
Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman, and I am the host of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. And this commercial break is brought to you by Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. On Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, we interview many guests about their life journey, pretty much where they come from and where they at now. Also promoting their brands or whatever they're doing at the time they come on the show. We also have the host talk about personal stories about himself and everything that he's been through. And also we have fun conversation about anything music, anything old school, relationships, wrestling, and many more. And y'all can tune in to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast every Sundays at 12 a.m. We are also on every Thursdays at 12 a.m. for Spin-Off Series Thursdays, where we have all of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast spin-off series all in one day, where we have a conversation about music podcast every first Thursday at 12 a.m. The Old School Show with myself and the Star Ridey Rod every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. And we have Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B every second and third Thursday at 12 a.m. And y'all can tune in to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, The Pods, and many more. Or y'all can check it out on the official website of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com, www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com. And tune in every Sundays and Thursdays at 12 a.m. for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in to this commercial break of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Back to your regularly scheduled program. Cheers!
My name is Brianna Lightfoot Smith, and you're listening to the Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast.
Yes, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And at this time, I got my special guest. She is an author, she is a mentor, and she got a podcast called Black Girl with Purpose. We got Miss Brianna Lightfoot Smith in the building. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing good. You know, dealing with the allergies, but I'm doing good. I'm good. You know, welcome to being on my show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, anytime. So you're ready for this interview?
I am.
All right. So we're gonna start off with, where are you from?
I'm actually from Arlington, Texas. I lived in Missouri for 4 years and New Orleans for 5, and now I live about 10 minutes from the house that I grew up in, which is pretty crazy how God brought that full circle.
Okay, nice. So if you can't describe yourself with one word, what would that word be?
Driven.
Nice. So why you pick driven?
I'm very determined whenever I set goals for myself, and sometimes that's worked to my demise, because if I didn't take a moment to pray and say, God, is this even what you want me to do? Then I will have spent weeks working on a project or a product only for it to fail. And then I'm mad, and God's like, sis, I didn't even tell you to work on that. So, but the benefit is that I am able to see things that I talked about come to fruition. You know, I know there are a lot of people who, we have these vision boards, we have these to-do lists, and you check at the end of the week or at the end of the month, and you're like, okay, you didn't do anything on here. What is up with that? So I've been able to stay organized over the years and accomplish a lot of the things that I set out to do.
Okay, nice. You know, keep doing your thing. Nice. So as we know, you are an author. So what made you want to go to that route?
Honestly, it was another God moment. I did want to write books. I'd actually written my first book when I was a child. It was called The Cloud Factory, and it was the story about two sisters who were going through this journey and saw this factory where clouds were created. And so I think that I was maybe 10 or maybe even younger when I wrote that. So I always wanted to be an author, but my book, The Black Girl's Guide to Living on Purpose, which I wrote at the age of 24, that book came from me sharing my testimony of overcoming suicidal thoughts as a teenager. And at the time I was working with other young women in ministry at my church, and I felt like they were struggling with a lot of the things that I struggled with when I was younger. And so I felt like I needed to provide some kind of solution. You know how you say, oh my gosh, you know, I can't believe this is still happening. And I felt like that's what I was feeling. But God said, okay, if it's still happening, what are you going to do to help fix it? And so that's why I ended up writing my book.
Okay, nice. Dope. So you already answered that question. I was telling us about the Black Girl Guide to Living on Purpose, but how long did it take you to write that book?
It took 7 months. So I started I want to say I started in March and finished around October. And yeah, that's 7 months. Started in March, finished in October, and then I edited the book in partnership with a woman from my church. I edited the book over the course of November and December, and then I released the book in February of the following book.
Nice. Where can they get the book?
You can go to my website actually to get the book at blackgirlsofpurpose.org.
Okay, now y'all check it out. Now go get her book, y'all. So when writing your book, what is your process?
I usually start with an outline, especially as someone who has a lot of ideas. I think a lot of people who want to write books have a lot of books that they could write. And so for me, writing an outline is always a good first step because it helps you to organize your thoughts. And then it also helps you to determine if you're still staying on the path that you said you were going to stay on, right? So let's say you're going to write a book about dieting, and if you don't write an outline, then you start noticing, wait, this isn't about dieting at all. This is a memoir about my dog or something like that. And it may seem like a silly example, but when you set that outline, you really are establishing a roadmap for yourself, and you're helping yourself to move in a consistent direction. So I always start with an outline, and then I just go chapter by chapter and I write. With the Black Girl's Guide to Living on Purpose, I was writing on my computer, and then I just got to a place where I noticed every time I would open up my computer to write, instead of writing the next chapter, I would go back and edit things that I had already written. And so I kept just going in this circle. And so the last few chapters of that book, I actually wrote down in a notebook and went back and typed it up, and then I was able to complete it.
Okay, nice. Like I said, y'all, get her book, y'all. Check out her book.
Yes, please.
All right, so support. We gotta support. So we're gonna switch gears a little bit. So you have a podcast show that out. So what inspired you to start a podcast?
Well, with the book, when I wrote The Black Girl's Guide to Living on Purpose, and then my aunt told me that I should write a workbook, so I did. And then she told me I should start doing workshops, and so I did. And what I realized is that I wanted to have multiple ways to connect with my audience. And so I actually started a blog, and I was sharing different women's stories who had, were on a path to purpose, whatever that looked like for them, whether they were students or whether they were people who are in the workplace or whatever the case may be. And honestly, the conversations I was having with these women were so amazing that I felt like where the blog was really great at one point, I wasn't doing the proper service to the women that I was having on, nor was I doing the best service to people who were reading the blog, because I felt like you couldn't properly convey the emotion, right? So if there was a time where we were laughing, I'm not going to type in "and then we laughed" on my blog, or if she said something and she cried, I'm not going to say "and then she cried." And so it really was an opportunity for me to invite our readers at the time into these conversations that I was having with these amazing women.
Okay, nice. All right, so tell us more about your podcast show, Black Girl with Purpose, and what the idea came together.
Yeah, so when we first started, I thought we were just going to feature women every month, and then I actually had been doing a series of Bible studies and felt led to share the Bible studies with people. So I started doing just this podcast Bible study every single week, and people were really being encouraged. I started getting messages like, "Oh my gosh, this is exactly what I needed to hear." And a lot of it was just me sharing my own testimony, various things that I was struggling with, whether it was overcoming fear or feeling hopeless or dealing with even depression. I mean, I did a whole mental health series and talking about that. And so in sharing my own story, I was positioning other women to share their stories in their respective communities, but then they were also really plugged into everything that was happening with me. And over the course of time, because we just started in 2018, I really was able to build an even bigger community than we had already, which was really exciting. And then just this year, we actually pivoted and started doing those features that I wanted to do when we started back in 2018. So now every single week, people get to hear from women of faith in business, and they share their specific entrepreneurial journey.
Okay, nice, dope. So I did listen to your podcast show, and I really do enjoyed it. I really enjoy your podcast show, like a lot.
Oh, that's so awesome! Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And where can they listen to your podcast show?
So it's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Spotify, it's on Google Podcasts, pretty much anywhere you can get your podcasts. And I know both of us use Anchor, so that's one thing I love about Anchor. It's not an ad, y'all, even though listen to the ads because it does help out. But it really does distribute the podcast to a lot of places where, people have been listening to podcasts for years. I feel like it's become a bigger thing in the last 3 to 5 years, but things like Pocket Cast and sites that you might not even know to go to, if that's where people get their podcast normally, then it will distribute it for you, which is really amazing.
Yes, yeah, it is amazing. And like I said, keep doing your thing, because you're really killing it. I really enjoy your podcast show, so keep doing your thing.
Thank you.
All right, so as we know, mental health is very important to our community, and we don't know how to speak about it or handle it. So why is it important to talk about it, and how do you have any experience on it?
Yes, I think it's important to talk about it. One, because people are dying, and I know that may seem like a really heavy answer, but it's true. I mean, people are dying because they are dealing with mental health issues, or because they're so depressed that they feel like they don't have a reason to live, or because they're dealing with shame behind some of the things that they're feeling, and they don't feel like they can adequately express it to people around them. And so mental health is so important to share, because because people are struggling, and I know that that's something that I dealt with. And for me, I did have that shame when I dealt with those suicidal thoughts as a teenager, because I thought to myself, okay, I'm born and raised in the church. I believe in Jesus Christ. So how can I have these thoughts? And I've just come to realize you can have Jesus and therapy. And I think, especially in the Black community, because church has been this bedrock foundation for us for so many years, sometimes we feel like to go to a counselor or a therapist is somehow cheating on God. And I've just had to learn for myself that that's not the case. Like, I go to church, I'm extremely devoted, I love Jesus, and I also go to counseling because it helps me to process through things. And in the same way, if let's say you broke your leg, if you go to the doctor, you go to the hospital to get them to operate on your leg, that's not a lack of faith. That's you using wisdom and saying, hey, this is an expert in this particular field, this particular area, and who better than them to tell me how I can fix my leg? Like, God blesses us with people and resources and knowledge. And to be able to tap into that mental health field shows that we can apply the things that He's given us without having any shame behind it.
Yes, I do agree. Yes, and I do deal with mental health as well, so I know how it feels. So we really do need to speak about it a lot more.
Yeah, and I think as we share more, then it becomes less taboo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree. So, what are some places people go to find their identity?
People go to so many things, Ken, and literally I was talking to another podcaster a few weeks ago and was just telling them how everything that I used to go to for my identity got stripped. Like, he said, okay, you go to your relationships for identity, okay, this person's not going to talk to you anymore. Or if you go to your activity for identity, because that was a big thing that I used to do, always wanting to be on the scene, he's like, okay, you're going to go and stay home with your children for 2 years. And then for me, even my income used to be something that I looked to for my identity. If I have money in the bank, cool, I'm good. If I don't have any money in the bank, then I'm struggling. And with him stripping away all of those things, it has really helped me to stay focused first and foremost on him, but then also get a proper perspective and understand if I have $1 million in the bank or if I have $0 in the bank, I'm still Brianna Lightfoot Smith. Like, that's not something that can be taken away from me. That's an external thing. And it's so interesting because even this week, my husband and I were able to pay off some debt, and I'm just like, wow, this is really exciting. But it also showed me I'm still Bree, me being, if I had $1 jillion in debt or no dollars in debt, like, I'm still Bree. That doesn't change the core of my identity.
Yes, I agree. Yes. So you're also a mentor. Explain to us why mentorship is so important. I
think mentorship is important because it helps, one, to kind of, like we were talking about with the mental health piece, it helps to normalize things. I think having a mentor and being a mentor, I think everyone who has a mentor should also be a mentor and vice versa. Because one, I know that being a mentor, it keeps me accountable to the things that I've set. So I can't tell my mentees, okay, you have to stay focused. Okay, you have to do this. Okay, you need to stay encouraged, but I'm not willing to do the same thing. And then having a mentor also gives me inspiration, right? It gives me creativity. It shows me, hey, this is where you could be headed next, or gives me ideas that I might not think about regularly. And I feel like even if you don't have a person you go to every single week, right, where it's not a formal mentorship, that's what's so amazing about social media and even thinking about Facebook groups. I know that's how we were able to connect, like being able to have a group of people, even on Facebook, that say, hey, here's what I'm doing in my business, or here's how I'm meal prepping for my family for this week. Because it doesn't always have to be an entrepreneurial thing, or here's how I twist my hair, flat twist my hair, whatever the case may be. I feel like you can have multiple mentors from multiple functions, and it helps you to, like I said before, stay accountable to the things that you've set, but it also helps you to make sure that you're always growing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, true. So do you ever look at your business and think, I'm not sure if I could do it?
All the time. And it usually comes in the form of either it used to be a really long to-do list, but this year I've gotten more intentional with my process and managing my business. So before it was old school, because I still love paper and pen, and I would write out the things that I needed to do for my business every single day. But I realized that was getting overwhelming for me. And I also know that I'm the kind of person that I'm always having ideas for my business. And so I would look at these notebooks and see these checklists, and then I have like stuff written in the margins, and it's like, wait, what was the process for this? And so, yeah, it definitely can get overwhelming. But when you have the right processes in place, then it helps. And I think sometimes, many people who are in the entrepreneurial space, you're learning as you're going. So even if you didn't study marketing, you're learning marketing. I mean, even if you didn't study graphic design, you're creating the graphics for your podcast, or you're creating the graphics for your email, or whatever the case may be, just because a lot of us start out bootstrapping, where we don't have a huge grant in the very beginning, not even we're not applying for them, but in the very beginning, you're also testing your product or your podcast. And so it's like, I don't even want to spend a bunch of money on this until I actually see that it has good traction, and that I want to continue to invest my time before I even invest any money into it.
Yes, agree. Yes. So we already know you already do a lot. You're an author, you're a podcast host, you're a mentor. Do you have any more projects going on? I know you do a lot as it is.
Yes, I mean, I have. We just recently launched an online learning platform for Black Girls with Purpose. And so women are able to come every single month. And I say come, I mean, it's an ongoing community, but every single month women get workshops on things that will help them in their business. So we have a how to start your own podcast workshop. We have how to teach an online course, which is so relevant in today's time, because people are realizing, okay, if you can't offer some of your products and services virtually, then in times like this, you might really be struggling. We have a class in there that talks about creating copy that compels. So if you're somebody who doesn't even have a website, but you have a really awesome email list, how you can type up really quality emails that will convert to sales for your business. So that's a huge project that we started on. And then I have our apparel brand. So Black Girls with Purpose has a Black Girls with Purpose shop. And that's something that I've been kind of slowly growing. Because again, going back to that, if you really want to build this, you're going to have to invest time into it. It's been more so a passive income stream of, oh, look, we sold a shirt. I don't feel like I'm always actively promoting it, but it's definitely something that means a lot to me. And then honestly, just on a personal level, always working on being a better wife to my husband, being a better mom to my children. I have really appreciated COVID-19 because I feel like I have gotten so much better with my fitness routines. I feel like I've learned how to do my hair better, because before it was like, okay, I'm just going to go to my hairstylist. And now we're seeing, again, you have to have those skill sets for yourself, because if something happens and you're not able to access these other resources, you still need to be able to maneuver your situation.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like COVID-19 is like a gift and a curse, because it did taught me to do things that I never thought I could do either. So I definitely agree with you on that as well. All right. So what is your dream venture? Something that you always want to do?
I want to go on tour. That's something I want to do. I want to go on a book tour. There are some projects with Black Girls with Purpose that I want to take on the road. That's just a dream for me, because one, I love traveling. So to be able to travel for my business would be amazing. But two, we have been able to create community in so many different cities and states over the course of the past few years. And so to see people who have been primarily on our email list in person would just blow my mind. So that's a huge goal, vision, venture for me, is to go on tour with Black Girls with Purpose eventually.
Nice. You already know anything is possible. God would definitely make it happen. Anything is definitely possible. I know you definitely could do it.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So what do you have to say for anybody that's going the same route as you? I
would say pace yourself. And in that same vein, be patient, because going back to a lot of people who are entrepreneurs are creatives, right? We have a lot of ideas. We're always thinking and brainstorming, and sometimes we want to do everything at once. I know that I struggle with that, where I'm like, okay, I know I'm just one person, but I can launch the app, I can launch the community, I can do the podcast, I can do the book, I can do everything. And it really helps to prioritize the things that are really important to you, but then be strategic in how you go about them. So you can say, okay, I'm going to focus on this one project exclusively for 3 to 6 months. And then once I get it to a place where I feel like it can kind of sell itself or market itself, then I will work on these other things. And what I've learned is that as you build your business, you'll realize there are different revenue streams that exist within your existing business. You're not having to be in real estate and be in banking and be in all these different things. That even within your own business, there are tons of ways for you to show off your creativity. So I would say pace yourself. And then the patience part comes because sometimes as business owners, because we're so excited about what it is that we're offering, we're like, oh my gosh, this is going to sell out immediately. We're going to get 1,000 sales our first time. And typically it doesn't happen. I know that miracles happen and sometimes God will make the miraculous happen, but more often than not, you're going to have to continue to be consistent. You're going to have to continue to send the emails about your sale. You're going to have to continue to send the notifications that you have a podcast that's on Apple, that's on Spotify, because people are inundated with so much information. And so you have to be willing to be consistent and show up again and again and again. And what's so interesting is I feel like sometimes people don't want to send a bunch of information because they feel like they're going to get spammed, but people can unsubscribe from your email list. So if they really don't want to hear from you, they'll unsubscribe. So if you notice that you send a jillion emails, but people are still opening them, then continue to send them and you'll be top of mind whenever they do want to buy a shirt or get a beauty product, or they do want to join your online community. They'll say, okay, hey, I got this extra money, like this stimulus check or something. And so I'm going to take a portion of that and invest in me.
Nice. Dope advice. You know, thank you, Brianna, for coming on the show. I appreciate you telling your story and everything that you're doing. You know, keep doing your thing with the podcast, the book, and everything.
Thank you so much, Ken. I appreciate you for having me on.
Yes. So, you know, I know you got a lot. I know you got a lot. So, you're doing your book, your podcast, everything, your social media, drop everything so they'll know where to reach you.
Yes. So you can go to our website, blackgirlsofpurpose.org, to connect with us. We have a free guide on how to build community on our page. So if you go to blackgirlsofpurpose.org and you scroll underneath the big part that says we create spaces for women of color to connect, then there's a free guide on there for you to learn how to build community if that's something that you want to focus on in this season of 2020, even amidst COVID-19. Definitely follow us on Instagram at Black Girls with Purpose. If you want to follow my personal page, you can follow me at The Black Girl with Purpose. And then if you want to see the gear that we have in our Black Girls with Purpose shop, we have a lot of awesome t-shirts, things that say things like purpose over profit or your pain produces your purpose. Then you can go to blackgirlsofpurpose.org/shop. And for your listeners, I'll let them get 20% off and they can use promo code PURPOSE20.
Nice. Y'all hear that? 20% off, y'all, when y'all purchase. So once again, thank you, Brianna, for being on the show, and we'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman. Now, I am the host of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, and this commercial break is brought to you by Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast presents Spinoff Series Thursdays. And Spinoff Series Thursday is the new home for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Spinoff Series. That brought to you shows like A Conversation About Music Podcast, The Old School Show, and Date Night Talk Podcast. And A Conversation About Music Podcast is a music spin-off series where we talk about anything music, from the current music scene and the old school music scene, where we interview many guests that's in the music industry and artists about their music journey. We have a segment game called The Face Off, which is a versus inspired game. And we have roundtable discussion about variety of music topics. And y'all can check out A Conversation About Music Podcast every first Thursday at 12 a.m. Every first Thursday at 12 a.m. Now, the old school show that featured myself and the star Roddy Rod. It is a show where we discuss anything old school, from music, TV shows, movies, and many more. We also bring in guests to join in on the old school conversation. Y'all can check out the old school show with myself and the star Roddy Rod every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. Every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. And last but not least, we have Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B, where we talk about anything relationship related topics like love, dating, relationships, cheating, the good and the bad, and many more. And y'all can check out this spin-off series, Date Night Talk Podcast, every second and third Thursday at 12 p.m. So look out for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Presents Spin-off Series Thursday, a conversation about music podcast every first Thursday. The old school show with myself and the star Roddy Rod every fourth Thursdays, and Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B every second and third Thursdays. And y'all can check out Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast every Sundays for the main series and every Thursday for spin-off series Thursdays. And thank y'all for checking out this commercial break. And now back to your regularly scheduled program. Choo!
Just want to take the time and thank everybody for tuning into a new episode. Thank you to my special guest, Miss Brianna Lightfoot Smith, for coming on the show. And check out her podcast, Black Girls with Purpose. It's out now. Amazing show. Check it out right now. And, you know, when we open back up and y'all in the New York area, you know, check out We Make Friday at Catcher, 217 Bay Street, say premiere at the door. And check out Best Saturday Party at Taj, 48 with 21st Street, 5th and 6th, say premiere at the door. If y'all want to be on my show, you know, just send me a bio of yourself and everything that you do, and send me a picture of yourself so I can add to the cover art from the episode to my email, kenypgent@gmail.com. I repeat, kenypgent@gmail.com. Or you can DM me, you know, Ken_Mr. Gentleman. I repeat, Ken, Ken_Mr. MR, Gentleman, GENTLEMAN. Also, if you haven't yet, check out the Premiere Boy Podcast with myself, Mr. Aaron Sands, and DJ Retro. It is out now. New episode should be coming soon. Once again, thank y'all for checking out the new episode, and have a good day.
My name is Imani, and you're now listening to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast.